So here is why I decided to start using Claude Code as a venture capital investor every day and why you should start using it too. But more importantly, I will show you how to download, set up and start with your first project in Claude Code without any technical knowledge, and we'll work through it together step by step. But before we jump in, why do I actually use Claude Code? So when it comes to AI assistants, I started with ChatGPT by the end of 2022 when it first came out, and initially used it as a replacement for Google search. So I browsed the web, I asked different questions to get very condensed, concise answers. Later on, I added different documents, so I inserted a PDF and did some document Q&A, and then also started with simple workflow automations. I've written about many of these workflows and also provided the templates for it in prompt libraries and other projects that I shared via my newsletter Data-Driven VC. Over time, I found ChatGPT to be too limited when it comes to different modalities like image or video, which is the reason why I added Google Gemini, just specifically in the last year, and have been using both of them in parallel. Now, in summer last year, I started playing around with different vibe coding tools like Lovable, Bold, Cursor, Replit, V0, and so on and so forth. But none of them actually delivered more than like a nice MVP version, and specifically not the workflow automations that I have been looking for. So in the last couple of weeks, the internet was full with Claude Code, so I took it as an inspiration to actually get big and start using Claude Code to automate my workflows. So how I specifically use it is I describe in natural language which workflows I want to automate. I do it mostly in planning mode, so it's some back and forth. And then it creates, for example, JSON files that I can export and import into n8n, a workflow automation tool, to set it up, add the credentials, and then execute very reliable deterministic workflow automations. So that's one of the use cases. I keep using Claude Code and I will show you how to do it. So now let's jump into the setup. So here's the website of Claude Code. It's claude.com/product/Claude Code. You can see different information here. Firstly, and most importantly, the different subscriptions. So I started with the Pro subscription, which is the most basic ones. They mostly distinguish in terms of usage, so how much you can use it. I hit the limit several times in the last couple of days, so you can then upgrade to the max 5x or max 20x plan. I personally don't need the max 20x plan for now, so I think that's really for power users. And I will start with the Pro. So you just click try Claude and then you sign up. So it's very simple and takes a minute. On the website, you also see different companies using it, different inspiration for use cases, and then also different integrations, for example, down here. But before we jump into that, you can actually use Claude Code in the browser. So if you just click on Try Claude, you will see that interface over here where you can start working with it and ask different questions. But I personally prefer to use it in the terminal, or as I will show you in a second, in VS Code, because the terminal of VS Code offers you significantly more flexibility. And don't be afraid if you're not technical. The terminal is also very useful for non-technical users, and I will show you in a second why. So we go back over here. Then Visual Studio Code or VS Code is essentially a very nice UI terminal. So on your MacBook, for example, if you just enter terminal in the search, you will get this terminal over here, which serves as the baseline to interact with our system. I don't like the terminal that much, so I prefer VS Code for different reasons. And I will show you how to quickly download it. So just download for Mac OS over here. It will open it in a download file. You click Save. This will create a zip folder in your downloads. You double click on the zip folder, then it opens an application, double click on the application, and it will execute very quickly. Then this is what you will see. So this is the starting screen of VS Code. You can already see slightly nicer UI. You don't need to go through the starting over here, just mark as done. And then most importantly, you can just click over here and you will find the terminal. So this is how to start with VS Code. Now it's set up. And now we can get back to the third thing that we need, which is Node.js. So what is Node.js? It's a framework that allows us to run JavaScript. So JavaScript is a coding language, you can say, that executes lots of stuff in the browser in the back that the user doesn't see. So taking JavaScript outside of the browser requires a framework, which is Node.js. So essentially with Node.js, we can execute JavaScript across our system and outside of the browser. It's required to use majority of the Claude Code stuff. So we just go to copy to clipboard, we get back to VS Code, and we just copy and paste in here. Do not ask me again, just paste, and it will execute. So you can see it now has executed. We can see the version, so we just click npm -version to see if it has correctly installed. It just tells us version 11.62, so this is the version that we need. Now we go back to the browser and we go to the Claude Code page. We just copy the code snippet at the top of the page over here, and now we go back to the VS Code environment and we just copy and paste this one line and execute. Okay, now it has completed the installation and we will just open Claude. First of all, it asks us which style we prefer, so you can navigate up and down and can see the different examples. I prefer the dark mode, so I'll click enter. Claude account with subscription. So now it will guide us to the website. I will quickly authorize. So this is now connected. We get back, you can see login successful, press enter to continue. So some security notes, yes, I'm not injecting whatever, taking whatever risk, and so on and so forth. So I've read them, make sure to read them too, so you know what it accesses. And then I use the recommended settings, and now it spins up Claude Code. So this was the setup, as you can see, very brief, 2 minutes. You don't need any technical skills, and now you can start with your first project, or you can even interact with Claude as you would with ChatGPT and anything else. So you can ask it questions like, what is the weather today in Munich? And it will start executing, and you can see how it is thinking, and it will ask me, can I perform a web search? Yes, perform it. So you can see it lists out all of the different steps that it's doing, and you can interact with it like a project planner / ChatGPT / Gemini, and you will get whatever outcome in here. So now it's looking through the web, it is pulling different information, and it will deliver the result just in a second. So this one here, there's always different wording, and you can see this is the result. So very simple web search. You can now insert different kind of documents in here. You can just drag and drop them. You can have different screenshots. You can OCR different screenshots, and so on and so forth. So with that, I hope you understand why I decided to go with Claude Code, how you set it up without any technical knowledge. And in the next project, I will show you how I use Claude Code and N8N and a couple of other tools to automate my investor workflows end to end. So make sure to subscribe, sign up to the Data Driven VC newsletter to not miss any content. Ciao.